Welcome to the Even Earlier Early Stage Startups podcast with Beeso Studio. We interview pre-seed and earlier companies to give them an opportunity to talk about the problems that they're solving, the traction they've made so far, if any, and why they're the right people to execute on that opportunity. Each episode is only 15 minutes. Let's dive into it. Hey, Toby. Thank you for joining us. Real quick, we're just going to start diving right into it. You want to tell us, you can briefly introduce yourself, but really let's dive into what is the startup that you're working on.
Yeah, for sure, Craig. Excited to be on this podcast. Heard great things. So my name is Toby, and I'm building StockBet, StockBet.io, this URL. We're a binary options exchange where retail investors can trade directly on market outcomes. So what does that mean? So things like, will Tesla go up or down tomorrow? Will Uber go up or down next week? And our mission is to basically increase retail market participation by giving retail investors a simple and straightforward alternative to complex options derivatives. Because right now, we're trying to replace confusing variables like delta, gamma, theta, vega, and rho with simple yes or no propositions instead. Right. So, for example, do you want to care about the user journey, Craig? Like how a user would use it? Yeah, for sure. Okay. So, me, Craig, he's a big fan of Netflix. You are. But the recent decline in quality of shows has really disappointed, right? And together with increased competition, rising prices, everyone's bearish on Netflix. But unfortunately, Craig has no idea how to actually trade and express his views in the markets. He has his opinion, but he can't actually trade it. And Craig has traded options before. You tried options, but you still don't understand how these incredibly complex derivatives work. And you're still haunted by that time when you bought puts and the stock did go down, but you actually lost money, right? In theory, when you buy a put, it goes down, you should make money, but these are very complex derivatives. Weird things happen. So luckily, Craig finds out about StockBet, which lets you trade directly on market outcomes like whether Netflix will close green or red in May. Something as simple as that, no complex derivatives, no Greeks. Right. So, for example, you go to the website, you see that green contracts are trading at 70 cents per contract and red contracts are trading at 30 cents. Right. So you spend $30 to buy 100 red shares at 30 cents a piece, and each share will return $1 if you're correct. So you bought 100 shares, and if you're correct, you earn $100, and you spend $30 to make that bet. It's that simple.
So are people actually buying shares, or is it's basically just betting on whether stocks are going to do something specific, go up or down, or there's going to be a certain return or something?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Craig. So the misconception is that people are betting here, but there is actually a category of financial instruments called binary options.
Okay.
Right? You have vanilla options with delta, gamma, theta, vega, rho, and you have binary options with binary outcomes. These are not popular yet, but we're going to be popularizing it, and it is a legal financial instrument.
So it's an actual options.
Yes, it's a different type.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So what do you think makes right now the right time to pursue this startup?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the key focuses for us is regulatory and compliance. And right now, there's been a recent rise of prediction markets like Polymarket, Predicted, Kalshi, right? Even event contracts are different from binary options, but they're also prediction markets. And you see regulations opening up, more prediction markets coming into market. And right now, we're one of the first players. And also, more specifically, one of our recent direct competitors, NADEX, which is probably the only place you can trade these binary options right now, they just got acquired by Crypto.com, of all things, right? So there's this massive incumbent has left the market, and there's a huge opportunity for StockBet to come in and make binary options simple and straightforward for a new generation of retail traders.
Interesting. Okay, so what do you think makes you and your team the right people to execute on this opportunity in the market?
Yeah, for sure. So right now, the team is just me. I'm doing everything, and I think that's pretty good testament because we have pretty good progress so far. We generated over $1,000 in revenue in April. But a bit about my background, I've been trading stocks. Well, my dad is a stock trader, so I've always been known about markets since I was a kid. And then I started trading myself, actually. And then one particular morning in 2019, I actually lost a bunch of money trading options. It's the exact scenario I described to you earlier. Right, I'm trying to buy call, right, and the stock did go up, but because the IV was so high, I got IV crushed and I actually lost a bunch of money on my call. So that's what prompted me be like, there must be an easier solution for this, right? And this basically led me to the most important part, which is seeing the contrarian truth about the current options market. So the intentions behind retail investors is very important, right? So when retail investors are buying calls and puts, they're really doing it to place leveraged directional bets. At least that's what they think they're doing, right? That's what I thought I was doing. But in reality, they're placing all kinds of different bets on all kinds of different variables like delta, gamma, theta, vega, and rho, which adds a bunch of other variables into play that they never even intended in the first place. As a result, sometimes calls can lose money. If the stock goes up, puts can lose money, even if the stock goes down. Very confusing. And the vast majority, 80-90% of retail investors don't know what these variables are, or even know what they mean. They don't even know it exists.
Sure.
And consequently, these retail investors are losing tons of money trading these complex derivatives, going through so much trouble just to place directional bets. They're basically using indirect proxies. What StockBet offers exactly, and why we're the perfect people to do this, because we see their intentions behind retail investors, and we're offering them exactly what they want, which is not a proxy, but a direct way to trade directly on market outcomes.
Are you building it yourself, or do you have a team working on it?
Yeah, again, I'm a solo team right now. I'm gonna give it getting co-founders, but right now I'm just building it myself. Okay. We're on V4 actually, the website. If you go on the website right now, it looks pretty good. But the V1 was actually really, really horrible, and I'm really glad Founder University accepted us even with V1. You know.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the point, right? Is get it out the door and then make improvements from there.
Yeah.
So is it functional right now? There's a version of it that's like an alpha version?
Yes. You can go to StockBet.io and start trading right now. We are accepting a few early alpha users because we're not yet regulated, so we have to keep things small in the alpha. Gotcha. But yes, we have users. We generated $1,000 in revenue last month. We charge transactions fees 2.5% per trade, and that's all we do.
So with where you're at now and where you're going to be at in the next couple months, what is it that you need?
Yeah, so right now we're actually raising some money with pre-seed round. We've already raised $25K from Jason Calacanis through launch, but we're still looking for more investments to complete our $300K pre-seed round. With that, we can actually start building our regulatory team because, like 1% again is not enough to actually bring this through all the regulatory hoops and etc. So hiring a former CFTC commissioner or someone who has a CFTC is something extremely important, and all of that building a team requires money, and that's what we're looking for right now.
Do you have people on the radar that if you were to raise the money that you'd know who to call and hire?
Oh, yeah. I have a whole Twitter list of all the usernames. Like the moment we reach our funding, I'm going to be sending emails and asking for them to join.
Great. Cool. So is there anything else that you'd like to leave us with before we wrap up?
Yeah, for sure. I actually have a gift for your listeners. StockBet is offering $10 of free credit to anyone who listens to this podcast. Just go to StockBet.io, sign up, and you'll get $10 in your account. This will expire in 14 days, though.
Okay, yeah.
Depending on when you get this podcast out.
Yeah, we'll share a link down below and have that date on there. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, well, thank you, Toby. Excited to see what you build here, and cool to see what you've already built. I think that's impressive to get it to where you are already just by yourself. So best of luck.
All right, thank you so much, Greg.
Thanks for listening to the Even Earlier Early Stage Startups podcast with Beeso Studio. Check out the description for links to the startup that we just talked to, and to find links to sign up to be on the show if you're just getting started and want to tell the world what you're working on.